I'd like to call the Greater Dayton RTA Board of Trustees meeting to order. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mrs. Stanforth, may we have the roll call?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Harrison?
Here.
Mr. Williamson?
Here.
Mr. Corrado? Ms. Hurd? Mr. Hoagie? Ms. Howard? Mr. Lumpkin?
Here.
Ms. Matthews Stinson?
Here.
And Mr. Weckeser?
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. At this point, I'd like to have the approval of the consent agenda. The agenda is before you. Are there any corrections or amendments to the agenda that you would like to make at this time?
Madam President, the only correction is that I will be giving the Planning Committee report in place of Ms. Howard today.
Thank you. Any other corrections or amendments? Hearing none, we will accept the agenda as amended. Next item is the approval of the December 3rd board meeting minutes. The minutes for that meeting were presented for review to all board members prior to this meeting. Unless there is any board member who requires a reading of the minutes, I will ask if there are any corrections or additions to the minutes as presented. Hearing none, I will consider the minutes as approved or as approved as presented. Okay. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the January 3rd special board meeting minutes. The minutes were presented to the full board prior to this meeting. Unless there are any board members who request a reading of the minutes, I will ask if there are any corrections or additions to the minutes as presented. Having heard no requests for a reading of the minutes, nor any corrections or additions, the minutes stand approved as presented. Next item on the agenda is the committee reports. Mr. Lumpkin, the Finance Personnel Committee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Finance Personnel and Planning Committees met for a jointly held meeting January 21st. As a result, the committee is recommending 4 action items for the board's consideration. Resolution number 2020-2-1, state fiscal years 2020 and 2021 Ohio Urban Public Transportation Grant Program applications. ODOT, the Ohio Department of Transportation, provides financial assistance to public transportation systems in Ohio through the Ohio Urban Public Transportation Grant Program. Current funding opportunities are offered under the Urban Formula Program and the Preservation Partnership Program. The RTA intends to use state-awarded funds for preventative maintenance and other capital projects based on budget needs. Because of the state fiscal year, July 1st through June 30th, eligible projects can be selected from either RTA's 2020 or 2021 list of eligible projects. Historically, RTA has applied under the Urban Transit Program as well as Ohio Transit Preservation Partnership Program. In addition, we have applied for funding under some Ohio EPA programs, which are open to Ohio public transit systems. Other funding opportunities may arise and will be considered for application based upon program requirements and current need. Mr. Rosinski provided a detailed explanation at the committee meeting, and supporting information is included in the package today. Yes, Bob is here if anyone has any questions for him at this time. Hearing none, based upon the recommendation of the committee, I move that the Board of Trustees approve Resolution 2020-2-1, Ohio Urban Public Transportation Grant Program applications.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that action item number 2, resolution number 2020-2-1, state fiscal year 2020 and 2021 Ohio Urban Public Transportation Grant Program applications be accepted. Question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Abstentions. Action item number 2 has been approved.
Action item number 3, Resolution 2020-2-2, fiscal year 2020-49, USC 5307, 5337, 5339, 5310, and other federal capital assistance grant. 49 United States Code USC 5307 authorizes grants to public transit systems in urbanized areas for capital operating planning assistance based on formulas used in that statute. 49 USC 5337 and 5339 authorizes grants to public transit systems in urbanized areas for capital assistance to support and maintain fixed guideway assets and other capital assets in a state of good repair. The RTA can use the funding for the purchase of the electric trolley buses, modernization of the trolley infrastructure, and capitalization of maintenance costs and other supporting facilities and equipment projects, as well as maintain capital assets in a state of good repair. These funds are based on formulas used in that statute. 49 USC 5310 provides funds to the region to support projects that serve the elderly and disabled. Resolution number 2020-2-2 provides authorization to file fiscal year 2020 USC 5307, 5337, 5339, 5310, and other federal capital assistance grants. Mr. Rosinski provided a detailed explanation at our committee meeting, and the supporting information is included in today's packet. And Bob is here for any questions that anyone might have at this time. Hearing none, based upon the recommendations of the committee, I move that the Board of Trustees approve Resolution 2020-2-2, fiscal year 2020, 49 USC 5307, 5337, 5339, and 5310, and order federal capital assistance grants.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that action item number 3, resolution number 2020-2-2, fiscal year 2020, 49 USC 5307, 5337, 5339, 5310, and other federal grant assistance grants be approved. Question? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Abstentions? Motion carries. Action item number 3 is approved.
Action item number 4, Aptian Iron Upgrade Project Modifications. During 2018, staff recommended an upgrade to RTA's accounting software. Staff is currently in the final stage of upgrading the software. However, there have been some difficulties in implementing the contract components of the software. After time and efforts were spent trying to implement the new contracts process, it was unfortunately determined we need to go back to using the custom process that has previously been designed for RTA. The goal was to go to a more off-the-shelf product. However, it did not work. It didn't work out. It didn't work out after considerable time and effort that was spent. At this point in time, staff is requesting additional funds in order to successfully and correctly implement all facets of the accounting software. Additional professional and technical services are required to ensure the proper functionality of the new version. The project supports RTA's core values of stewardship and financial resources entrusted to our care. Ms. Stanforth and Mr. Harrington provided a detailed explanation at the committee meeting, and the supporting information is in your packet today, and they are available for any questions the board might have at this time. Hearing none, based on the recommendation of the committee, I move that the Board of Trustees ratify and increase the Appian Iron contract in the amount of $70,115 for the purchase of additional Appian professional and technical services for a total award of $371,619. The cost will be funded with 80% federal and 20% local operating funds.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that action item number 4, Aptine IREN Upgrade Project Modifications be approved. Question? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Abstentions? Motion carries. Action item number 4, Aptine IREN Upgrade Project Modifications is approved.
Action item number 5, radio maintenance. Motorola Solutions is the sole provider for the digital radio systems that Montgomery County uses, to which the RTA subscribes. This is a radio system which all RTA revenue vehicles, supervisor vehicles, maintenance vehicles, and management personnel use for closed radio communication. In 2014, this decision was made as part of RTA's technology investment project to convert from private UHF-based radio system to the new countywide system. RTA is requesting the authorization of the funds to enter into a 4-year contract with Motorola Solutions for the initial version upgrade and 4 years of maintenance that will include 1 version upgrade every other year for the radio server and dispatch consoles. This purchase supports RTA's core value of stewardship through the effective and efficient use of agency resources. Ms. Harrington and Mr. Brown provided a detailed explanation for the committee at the meeting, and the supporting information is in today's package. They are available today if anyone has any questions. Hearing none, based upon the recommendation of the committee, I move to award a contract to Motorola Solutions in the not-to-exceed amount of $237,424 for the purchase of an initial upgrade and 4 years of maintenance of RTA's radio server and dispatch consoles. This cost will be funded with 80% federal and 20% local operating funds.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that action item number 5 be approved for radio maintenance. Question? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Abstentions? Action item number 5 is approved.
Additional items, the 2019 sales tax update from October. Ms. Danforth reported the year-to-date October 2019 sales tax receipts equal 32.7 million. Ooh, 3.2 would be bad. 32.7 million, while year-to-date October 2018 receipts equaled 31.2 million. Improvements were realized in the areas of seller's use tax and streamlined sales and use tax, out-of-state sellers, when comparing to 2017 and previous years. Current funding has been reduced by $4 million as a result of the loss of Medicaid managed care tax. The November 2019 financial statements, Ms. Danforth reported in that month, 2019 RTA's net loss before federal and state depreciation is $544,000. This compares to the November 2018 net loss of $142,000. The negative result is attributed to higher contract services, including hardware maintenance and building and grounds maintenance, as well as the elimination of state transitional aid revenue. The year-to-date 2019 net loss before federal and state depreciation is $2 million. This compares to the year-to-date November 2018 net loss of $630,000. The current loss is attributed to the elimination of state transitional aid for 2019, offset by lower operating expenses, higher federal assistance, and a significant change in the fair value of investments. The committees must continue to address the growing operating loss trend while considering options to improve RTA's overall financial health. The agency simply cannot continue to absorb such large annual operating losses. And that concludes my report, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the Planning Committee report. Mr. Williamson will be handling it.
Thank you, Madam President. The Finance, Personnel, and Planning Committees met for a jointly held meeting on January 21st. And while there are no action items to bring before the board today, we do have important updates. At the committee meeting, Mr. Brandon Polachicchio provided a summary document of recent activities in the Customer and Business Development Department. More than 150 people learned how to live a healthier life going into 2020, thanks to RTA's Get Healthy for the Holidays event on Friday, December 20th at Right Stop Plaza. This was the 5th year of this now annual event, which includes free health and insurance information, screenings, and a prize pack. The event was done with the help of Premier Health, Kettering Health Network, Planned Parenthood, Dayton and Montgomery County Public Health, Five Rivers Health Centers, Help Me Grow, and Primary Health Solutions. Ohio Loves Transit is February 14, and the RTA will be using the day to promote its services and reward customers for using the transit app. As part of the statewide initiative, transit agencies will be sharing customer stories about how transit improves their lives and how agencies are using new state funding to provide better service. In Dayton, RTA riders will be able to ride free on February 14 if they show the transit app to their driver. This past month, the RTA was named as a first-place winner of the American Public Transportation Association 2020 Photo Invitational. The RTA submitted several photos of customers using RTA services. In total, 12 photos were selected as part of the contest. This concludes my report, Madam President. I would be happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Any questions, anyone? I'd like to congratulate them on the award for the photos. The next item on the agenda is the Investment Advisory Committee report.
Thank you, Madam President. The Investment Advisory Committee met on January 23rd for an informative session regarding current topics in the investment arena, RTA's investment portfolio, and sales tax revenue. The committee does not have any action items today. However, I have informational items to share. Ms. Eileen Stanek of Meter Investments began her presentation with an economic update. As of September 2019, U.S. gross domestic product, GDP, growth was just over 2% quarter over quarter, as well as year over year. This year's presidential election may have an impact on GDP as we get closer to the fall 2020. Regarding oil and diesel fuel pricing, AAA diesel retail prices are in the $60 to $65 per barrel range, which is up about $10 per barrel from our October 2019 meeting. The slight uptick over the past quarter results from recent disputes with Iran. Pricing is still relatively low, with the likely scenario being higher future prices. With the U.S. producing more and more diesel, this has buffered the increase in prices. Regarding the U.S. unemployment rate, we continue to have a full employment state with employers finding it difficult to find qualified employees. The national unemployment rate is currently under 4%, and Ohio's rate is now at 3.5% compared to 4.5% at our October 2019 meeting. When looking at inflation, personal consumption expenditures inflation remains well below 2%. Market inflation expectations are in the 1.5% range over the next 5 years. The lower inflation expectations indicate a slowing economy. Ms. Stanek also reported the par value of RTA's investment portfolio at December 31st, 2019 was $25.32 million and carried a weighted average maturity of 1.69 years. The weighted average yield on the portfolio was 1.69%, and the annual interest income projected on the current portfolio is $427,891. Meter's recommendations to the committee include: 1, recent trends in the inflation and slowing global growth support the Fed's recent actions of reducing the federal funds rate. The market is anticipating one additional rate cut in 2020. Given this outlook for rates, Meter continues to recommend extending the core portfolio cash flow permitting. 2, commercial paper continues to provide excess yield to the portfolio over alternate short-term products. Therefore, Meter recommends continuing to build the allocation to commercial paper. Committee members unanimously agreed with Meter's above-stated recommendations. This will be the path followed until the next Investment Advisory Committee meeting, which is scheduled for April 2020. Sales tax has previously been mentioned under the Finance Personnel Committee report, so I won't go into that. And that concludes my report, Madam President.
Thank you. The Chief Executive Officer's report. Mark?
Thank you, Madam President. Just a few informational items. First being that the group in the Czech Republic from the museum there, hoping to raise funds to return one of our electric trolley buses to their original home, has reached their goal with help from some of us here. So we will start the arrangements to for them to ship the bus over. We're going to not only provide one of the buses, we're going to provide some spare parts, the ones we think are most critical, because they do hope to actually operate the vehicle at some point. They've asked for a couple other things that we're going to give them. They want one of our full operator uniforms to be on display in the museum, and some pieces of our infrastructure. Several of us have collections of those in various parts around the property. So we're going to make sure they have everything they want. They raised over $30,000 US to get this bus shipped, and we're real happy to be able to make that happen. And again, this all results from, to some, the little-known secret that this was one of the first post-Cold War economic development efforts between the Czech Republic and the United States, us first and then San Francisco. So that's a good thing. We're very happy about that. I know, Sharon, you're going to be very disappointed. The scooters have been pulled off the street for the winter. I could see the disappointment in your eyes, but not to worry, because you can be a winter warrior on the bike share program. It never closes. And crazy people like Laura out there actually ride them in the snow and all that, but they're still available. So if you're not seeing scooters and that concerns you, don't be concerned, at least at this point. Our manpower situation continues to get better, not as fast as we would like, but we're continuing to work on that. So anybody out there in TV land who knows a good bus operator or mechanic candidate, send them our way. We would love to have good people here to wrap it up. And then the final item for me is, as you know, we were able to reach an agreement with the Amalgamated Transit Unit on a new 3-year contract with them. I think it was a credit to the union's leadership, Mr. Duncan, the president of the locals here in the room, that over the holidays we managed to get back together in a small room, and we traded a few punches and we came out with a package that worked for everybody involved. But they deserve credit for getting that done. We're wrapping up the back pay issues now, and we're just very happy that now we've got a good contract to carry us through to 2022, which is a wonderful thing. So unless there are questions, that's all I have to report.
Mark, I do have one just matter of curiosity. The bus that goes back to the Czech Republic, will it still maintain our logo on it when they put it on display?
Yeah, well, that's our intent, and I believe theirs as well. And my understanding is they're developing, it's going to be kind of a Dayton display. This will be an excuse to get over there at some point.
That's exactly what I was just thinking about. I don't want to take a Viking cruise on the Danube, but I do want to go see this bus in the Czech Republic.
I do as well, and they've been great. And interestingly, they ran into a brick wall at Muni in San Francisco. They approached them actually before us. And they got, I think, the second generation of those buses. So they've been thrilled in the partnership they have with us, and they're wonderful people. So hopefully this is going to be a good event. When we get towards the actual departure of the bus, we'll do some sort of media event for local media and our national trade association, too.
Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
Is there any old business that we need to discuss at this time? Any new business items? Then that brings us to public comment. So I have a total, I believe, of 6 people that wish to make a public comment. And I'd just like to say that anyone wishing to address the board must speak on their own behalf. After being recognized to speak, you must come to the podium, or a microphone will be provided to you. You will state your name and address, and after doing so, you will have 3 minutes to make your comments. When 30 minutes remain, a yellow light will come on. I mean 30 seconds. My bad. When 30 seconds remain, a yellow light will come on. When 3 minutes are up, you must cease speaking. Having said that, the first person on the agenda to speak is Ms. Florence O'Brien.
Yes, my name is Florence O'Brien, and I live at Brookview Apartments. we have a grocery bus. We had a driver. I don't know whether the police were called or what, but she was let go. She turned around and she was, when I fell, she helped me. She has helped one person after another on that bus. And you let her go? Because of some woman? Was a police report filed? Were the police called? Were there witnesses? I was in law for a number of years. I want to know if this was the case, or you took the word of one woman who disliked our bus driver bridge. Now, we've had one driver after another, every day a new driver. Are you going to pay us for telling the driver where to go? We're all getting sick of it. Then you're getting money for new buses. Have any of you rode on the grocery bus with us? Right now, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 people with walkers, and they with us. And we're only a sample of the people that get on that bus, the seniors that get on that bus, that cannot go up the stairs inside the bus. There is not enough seats. Those 2 steps going up, more people have fallen on those steps than you can possibly name. Are you looking for a lawsuit? I cannot go up those stairs. If I went up those stairs and fell, I'm going to tell you right now, you would have a lawsuit. A good sizable lawsuit.
Thank you for your comments. Mark?
I'll make a couple comments. One, we don't discuss details of disciplinary actions involving employees. I will tell you that the events you speak of were all captured in audio and video, and we do have those. Regarding the steps in the bus, and you and I have had this conversation before, there's an engine and a transmission back there in the back of the bus. There's no way to avoid the steps unless they're in the front of the bus, which would be a type of bus that they really don't make anymore, which is what we call a high-floor bus. The steps are a necessity as long as we have buses that have that material in the back. There's no way to avoid that. Could we put a bigger bus out there? Possibly, but that's a problem too, because some of the areas where especially the 65 goes, you can't get a 40-foot bus in and out of some of those places. We've tried it. And they got your message over there on drivers being lost. They'll get to work on that.
Next person scheduled to speak is Sandra Smothers.
My name is Sandra Smothers. I live at 6217 North Main Street, Harrison Township, Sienna Springs. And I'm here today to say a few things that need to be said. First of all, we don't appreciate our bus driver being pulled off the bus in the middle of her shift. I think that was kind of dirty and low down. She is an outstanding 30-year veteran, and she goes beyond the call of duty for us. And I mean, when she took the route, she always stepped off of her bus, and anybody that needs any help getting on the bus, she's there. And I have to give it to her. And she's not just our bus driver, she's a good friend, and we love her to death. And we don't think she was treated very fairly. The woman that did this, I got information today, she showed out on Route 2 on a bus driver. I got information today. And it was said that she cussed the driver out. She can't even get a nurse's aide no more because she beat up the nurse's aide. And it's a lawsuit on the company now. behind this. That bus need to be pulled out of Huffman Place. It was pulled out of there once. It need to be pulled out again indefinitely, like Wentworth Apartments was, where the drug deal. It's drugs over there in that area. And there's 3 people living in my building moved out of Huffman Place because of that. And I don't think, I feel like Bridget was either set up, she got a can of pop thrown on her, and you can't say it looked like she been hit, cause looking like you can't go in the courtroom. You can't go in Judge Walter Wright's courtroom with that. You couldn't even come in my courtroom if I was a judge. But I can say one thing, whoever did it to her, you could be here today and gone tomorrow at Greater Dayton RTA. You can get fired too. Thank you.
The next person scheduled to speak is Candace Woods.
My name is Candace Woods, and I live at 6215 North Main Street, apartment 106 in Harrison Township. I've known Bridget since 1998, when she was on Route 9, and I was living in Dunbar Manor. In the 22 years that I've known her, she has never disrespected nobody. She don't raise her voice. She don't put her hands on no one. To me, what happened, it's unfair.
Thank you, Candace. Next person is Lynetta Day.
My name is Lynetta Day. I stay at 1465 West 3rd Street. My girl Bridget, she's a good person. She's a good person. She treats you with love, kindness. As soon as I get, I right on Thursday, she'll let her ramp down for me if I have a hard time getting up on that bus. She'll help me up there. She'll take my groceries in my building, and she's very good. She's got a kind heart.
Thank you, Ms. Day. The next person is Charlene Dawson.
My name is Charlene Dawson. I live at 6045 North Main Street, that is CN. I've known Bridget a little bit over 6 years, and I know her. Bridget is the kindest driver, one of the kindest drivers you have. Number one, she loads and unloads our groceries. She doesn't have to do that, but she does it out of the kindness of her heart because she loves seniors. There are not many people out here that give us that kind of love and understanding. People are so impatient anymore. They don't want to help anybody. 99.999% of your drivers are some of the best people. It's only that 0.1% that makes everybody else look bad. Bridget is not one of those people. The way she was treated is not right. She is my link to the outside. If it wasn't for this bus, I could not get out because I don't use a cane, I use a rollator chair. Bridget is a good woman. She's a God-fearing woman, and she is my friend, and I'm proud to call her that. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about is bus number 16, northbound. It goes up to the Walmart up there on Hope, I think it's Hope Road. It's in Inglewood. We were wondering whether the bus, it has I think a 5-minute layover, whether you could take that layover and go into the Walmart store. Because walking from the bus stop to that door is dangerous. The traffic through there is really bad. It's really bad for people walking. And sometimes people don't even see us coming around those corners. So I'd like you to take that into consideration. Thank you.
We'll have our folks look at that. The Walmarts are very difficult to get on their properties. If you look at the one on South Dixie, it's the same issue. You have to go all the way out to Cardington but we'll ask our planning people to take a look there. Everything at Walmart has to go to their home office, and usually you never get a positive answer.
Thank you, Ms. Dawson. The next person is Carla Pitzinger.
My name's Carla Pitzinger. I live at 2727 North Gettysburg Avenue, now here in North Dayton. Real quick, my youngest daughter, she's disabled. She's been taking more Project Mobility once in a while here when I take her out to the mall on Sundays. So I do get to meet the Project Mobility, so it is very important to get to know the drivers. I need to trust them. Because as you know, last July, most of the drivers I know, I trust, except for this one that kicked me off here, thinking I was an immigrant. And I still would like to know, if he's driving Route 24. I'll get with Mr. Cole on that here. He's not here.
Yes, Mr. Cole is here.
He's here. Okay. And anyway, I want to give you a heads up. The People's Campaign with Reverend Barber from Chicago is touring, and he's stopping in Dayton because of the tornado and the shootings, and now because of some tragic deaths. I think it was Dakota, the boy that was, and we're mentioning a friend of I sort of knew, Sierra Woodfork, who was killed here last month. I just want to say a bus number, guy that was driving number 16, when she was at the shelter a few years ago, she got a job at Perkins, and he sent flowers to her funeral, which I had a chance to go last Saturday. And so I realized a lot of bus drivers knew her. And I knew her when she got hit by a car a few years ago, even in the Oregon district. I didn't think she would survive that. She was a tough lady, and she came here to some event. So I sent some pictures today to Mr. Coleman here because I got the impression a lot of the bus drivers had a meeting, and knew her. She was a very just sweet lady. She was only 25 years old. I want to touch on that here, that I want to still get a bus stop at the Women's and Family Shelter for the ones that are disabled, because the one down the hill and all that, it doesn't even have a shelter. It has a bench. There's so many families. It's rough. But in the wintertime, you got to go down this driveway near the Booth House, Salvation Army, and then sort of down a hill and then up a hill on the way back. The men's shelter has one. They got one a few years ago, even though they had this big overhang and, 50 feet away. But they got a little bus shelter. Why can't Women's and Family have one? I've been asking for one for years. Planning, Mr. Hall and all says, well, and St. Vincent will not give permission, even though they qualify for one. There's over 50 women. Oh, that's it? All right. Wow.
Thank you. As far as the shelter is concerned for that stop, somebody's,
Brandon can talk to Ms. Pitzinger.
I'm sorry, who?
Brandon can talk to her.
Okay, Brandon. Thank you, Brandon. You'll handle that. At this point, we're now at board member comments or announcements. I'll start with you, Tom. Okay. And you, okay. Belinda did nothing, and then Dave?
Not today.
John?
No comment.
Okay, thank you. I should have mentioned earlier, like when we did roll call, that we do have a quorum. Just let the record show I did say that at some point during the meeting. We do not have a request for a executive session that I am aware of.
Could I make one for a very brief executive session regarding a personnel matter?
Yes, you may. We have a request for an executive session that will deal with a personnel matter. May we have a roll call?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Harrison?
Yes.
Mr. Williamson?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Lumpkin? Ms.
Yes.
Mr. West.
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Thank you.
Could you make a motion to do that, and then we get a second?
So moved.
Okay, so the motion was just made. And so we have a motion, and we have a roll call that was.
Second.
That precedes. Okay, it's been moved and second. Thank you for keeping us in line. And there will be no action after the executive executive session.